Dr. Catherine Anderson stood in the crowded auditorium of the International Space Center, her fingers drumming against the leather folder in her hands. Above Washington, D.C., the alien ships still hung in the evening sky like luminescent clouds, their hulls reflecting the setting sun in ways that defied terrestrial physics. 3 days had passed since first contact, and humanity was about to receive its first official assessment from the Galactic Council. "Stop fidgeting," Dr. James Rodriguez whispered beside her. "You're making me nervous." "I'm not fidgeting," Kate replied, though she forced her fingers to still. "I'm containing my urge to punch our esteemed alien colleague in his smug geometric face." Dr. Zix 427 stood at the podium, his crystalline form catching the stage lights and casting rainbow patterns across the audience. The alien scientist had spent the past 72 hours examining Earth's technological achievements, with all the enthusiasm of a jaded food critic at a fast food restaurant. "Representatives of Earth," Zix 427's translator hummed. "The Galactic Council has completed its preliminary assessment of your civilization's technological advancement." He paused, managing to look down his non-existent nose at the assembled human scientists. "We have developed a standardized scale for evaluating emerging civilizations, ranging from 1 to 10. Kate's grip tightened on her folder. Inside were the blueprints for her team's latest propulsion system prototype. Not that the alien had bothered to look at them for more than 30 seconds. After careful consideration, Zix 427 continued, "Earth has been awarded a technological aptitude score of 2.1. The auditorium erupted in murmurs. Kate felt her face grow hot. "This is actually quite promising," the alien added, in a tone usually reserved for praising a child's crayon drawing. "Many species begin at 1.8 or lower. Your grasp of basic atomic theory and preliminary space travel indicates significant potential." "Preliminary space travel," Kate muttered. "We put people on Mars 15 years ago." "Using chemical propulsion," Zix 427 responded, his enhanced hearing catching her comment. "A charming achievement, like watching an infant learn to crawl. The Council estimates that with proper guidance, Earth could achieve Level 3 status within 3 centuries. The alien gestured, and a holographic display materialized above the stage. It showed a timeline of technological progression, with Earth's position marked near the bottom. "Your species' fixation with combustion-based engines and silicon computing demonstrates a quaint understanding of universal principles. However, with patience and proper mentoring from more advanced civilizations, you may eventually grasp real science." Kate stepped forward, her voice cutting through the murmurs. "And what exactly qualifies as real science?" Dr. Zix 427. The alien's crystalline form shifted hues, displaying what the briefing materials suggested was amusement. "Consider your current attempts at faster-than-light travel research. Your theories remain bound by primitive understandings of quantum mechanics and space-time manipulation. We've made significant breakthroughs in quantum tunneling," Kate began, but Zix 427 raised a limb, cutting her off. Yes, like watching a cave dweller theorize about solar power." He floated down from the podium, approaching Kate. "Don't worry, little one. The Council has helped many young species overcome their technological adolescence." The alien extended a crystalline appendage and patted her on the head. The auditorium fell silent. Kate's face burned, not with embarrassment, but with fury. She'd spent 20 years pushing the boundaries of human knowledge, and this cosmic bureaucrat was treating her like a precocious child. "The Council will establish guidance stations around your planet," Zix 427 announced. "We'll begin by correcting your most basic misconceptions about universal physics. With time and patience, you may even—" "And if we refuse your guidance?" Kate interrupted. The alien's color shifted to what might have been confusion. "Refuse? Why would you refuse the opportunity to learn from species thousands of years ahead of your development?" Kate straightened her spine, meeting the alien's geometric gaze. "Because, Doctor," Humanity has a long history of exceeding expectations, especially when someone tells us something's impossible. Ah, Zix 427's translator hummed with that same patronizing tone. How endearingly optimistic. Perhaps in 3 centuries, you'll understand just how much you don't understand. As the alien floated back to the podium, Kate felt a hand on her shoulder. James leaned in close. "I know that look," he whispered. "What are you thinking?" Kate watched the alien resume his presentation, a smile tugging at her lips. "I'm thinking it's time to show our new friends what humanity does best." "And what's that?" "Prove them wrong." The Galactic Council's chamber aboard their flagship made the United Nations look like a high school gymnasium. Crystalline beings of various colors floated alongside humanoids with impossible anatomies, all gathered to witness Earth's formal integration into galactic society. Kate Anderson stood at the center of it all, trying not to fidget with her dress uniform's collar. The Council had demanded Earth's leading scientists attend this ceremony, though she suspected it was more about showing off their superiority than genuine diplomatic protocol. "Dr. Anderson," Zix 427's voice chimed as he drifted toward her. "I trust you've had time to process your civilization's assessment." "Oh, I've processed it," Kate replied, forcing a smile. "Though I'm curious about something in your quantum mechanics presentation yesterday." The alien's crystalline form flickered with what she learned to recognize as amusement. "I doubt you'd understand the complexities. But please, ask your question." Before Kate could respond, a resonant tone filled the chamber. The council members took their positions, and Zix 427 floated away, leaving her with an apologetic shimmer that clearly meant, "Maybe when you're older." The Grand Administrator, a towering being of pure energy contained within an ornate metallic frame, addressed the assembly. "We gather to welcome Earth into the galactic community as a protected developing world." Kate caught James's eye from across the chamber. He gave her a subtle nod. However, the administrator continued, "Earth's representatives have expressed disappointment with their assessment level." Murmurs rippled through the chamber. Kate kept her expression neutral, even as several alien species turned their various sensory organs toward her. "The Council believes in encouraging initiative," the administrator announced. "Therefore, we propose a challenge, a chance for Earth to prove its potential." Now this was interesting. Kate hadn't expected them to take her formal protest seriously. If humanity can achieve faster than light travel within 10 standard years, using only their own technology and understanding, they will be granted full council membership. The chamber erupted in chittering, humming, and various other alien expressions of surprise. Kate watched Zix 427's color shift to what she hoped was concern. However, the administrator's voice cut through the noise. "Any attempt to use or copy advanced alien technology will result in Earth's permanent classification as a protectorate. No appeals, no future challenges." Kate stepped forward. "And if we succeed, then humanity will have earned its place among the stars." The administrator's energy form pulsed. "Do you accept these terms, Dr. Anderson?" Kate felt the weight of the moment. Behind her stood thousands of years of human innovation and determination. Before her, an assembly of beings who saw humanity as barely more than clever animals. But she'd seen something in their technical presentations, a flaw in their quantum mathematics so fundamental they didn't even recognize it. Their understanding of quantum mechanics had a blind spot, a gap that humanity's primitive approach might just be able to exploit. "Before I accept," Kate said, her voice carrying through the chamber, "I have a question about the Council's quantum tunneling theorems." Zix 427 floated forward. "Dr. Anderson, this is hardly the time for." "Specifically," she continued, pulling up a holographic display of their equations, "about your assumption regarding quantum entanglement decay rates at macro scales." The alien scientist froze, his crystalline form briefly losing its coherence. "Those equations are standardized across." "Because according to our primitive understanding," Kate highlighted a section of the formula, You've overlooked something rather interesting about quantum superposition in nested fields." The chamber fell silent. The Grand Administrator leaned forward, energy form flickering with what might have been curiosity. "Accept our challenge, Dr. Anderson," Zix 427 said quickly, "and perhaps in 10 years, we can discuss your theories." Kate smiled. It wasn't just condescension in his voice now. There was a touch of worry. "The terms are acceptable," she said. "Humanity accepts your challenge." "Then let it be recorded," the administrator declared. "Earth has 10 years to achieve faster-than-light travel or accept permanent protectorate status." As the ceremony concluded, James made his way to Kate's side. "Did you see their reaction when you mentioned nested fields?" "I did." Kate watched Zix 427, hurriedly consulting with other council scientists. "And did you notice they never actually answered my question about their quantum theorems? Think they really missed something that big?" Kate's smile widened. "I think humanity's about to teach the galaxy a lesson about the dangers of underestimating primitive species. Above them, the council members continued their discussions, unaware that they'd just started a countdown to their own humbling. The abandoned steel mill outside Pittsburgh looked exactly like what it was supposed to be, a remnant of America's industrial past. Rust crept up its walls. Broken windows gaped like missing teeth, and local teenagers had turned its outer walls into an ever-evolving graffiti gallery. It was perfect. Kate Anderson stood in what had once been the main smelting floor, now transformed into a state-of-the-art quantum physics lab. Holographic displays flickered between salvaged steel beams, and repurposed mining equipment housed delicate quantum sensors. "The aliens just completed their weekly scan," James announced, walking in with 2 cups of coffee. They reported, and I quote, "continued primitive industrial decay consistent with technological assessment level 2.1. Kate accepted her coffee with a grin. "Did they spot anything?" "Not even close. Those rust patterns on the roof. The quantum dampeners you designed are working perfectly. As far as their sensors can tell, this place is exactly what it looks like, an abandoned relic." 3 months had passed since the Council's challenge, and Project Checkmate was in full swing. Similar facilities had been established worldwide. A defunct fishing factory in Norway, an abandoned warehouse in Singapore, a condemned underground station in London. "How's the team in Australia doing?" Kate asked, pulling up a secure holographic display. "See for yourself." James tapped a command, and Dr. Sarah Mitchell's face appeared. "Kate." Perfect timing. The Australian quantum physicist looked excited. "Remember that anomaly we detected in the Council's entanglement equations? We've been running simulations all night. You need to see this." The display filled with data streams and quantum formulas. Kate's eyes widened as she processed the implications. "They're not just overlooking the nested field effects," she breathed. "They don't even know they exist. Their whole approach to quantum mechanics is built on a fundamental misunderstanding of." A warning light flashed. James quickly shut down the hologram as heavy footsteps approached from the mill's entrance. 2 alien observers walked in, their environmental suits glowing softly in the dim light. The smaller one, whom Kate had mentally nicknamed Sparkles due to his crystalline form's tendency to glitter, surveyed the space with what passed for disdain. "Dr. Anderson," Sparkles' translator hummed. "Still pursuing your, what did you call it?" "Historical Preservation Project," Kate supplied smoothly. "Documenting Earth's industrial revolution through interactive exhibits." "How charmingly primitive," the larger observer commented. His environmental suit had been modified to accommodate his gaseous form. "Though I must ask, why waste time preserving monuments to outdated technology when you could be learning from our guidance?" Kate gestured to the carefully placed exhibits, deactivated machinery that concealed cutting-edge quantum research equipment. "Those who don't study history are doomed to repeat it. Besides, some of us prefer hands-on learning to lectures." The observers exchanged what might have been amused glances. "We detected unusual energy readings in this sector." Sparkle said. Care to explain? Old electrical systems, James interjected. They spark up sometimes. We're actually documenting the phenomenon for our exhibit on early power distribution. How quaint. The gaseous observer drifted toward a partially dismantled blast furnace, behind which sat their most advanced quantum tunneling prototype, disguised as a broken boiler. Though perhaps your time would be better spent attending our seminars on basic quantum theory. We wouldn't miss them, Kate assured them, fighting to keep her voice neutral. Just yesterday, she'd spotted 3 fundamental errors in their basic quantum theory presentation. After a few more condescending comments about human technological development, the observers left. Kate waited until their sensors confirmed the aliens were out of range before reactivating the secure systems. Sarah, she called, reopening the connection to Australia. Send everything you've got on those nested fields, and contact the other sites. If we're right about this. We're right, James said, studying the incoming data. They built their entire FTL theory on flawed assumptions about quantum behavior. No wonder they think it's impossible. They're trying to brute force their way through problems that don't even exist. Kate smiled, watching the real-time results from their latest quantum tunneling tests. Then let's show them what's possible when you question basic assumptions. She pulled up the secure communication channel to their global network of hidden facilities. Ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time for Phase 2. Around the world, in abandoned buildings and underground bunkers, humanity's brightest minds prepared to prove that sometimes the best way forward is to ignore everything you've been told about what's possible. Alex Martinez stared at her computer screen in the basement of the Pittsburgh facility, her fingers hovering over the keyboard. The 19-year-old programmer had been working on quantum simulation code for 36 hours straight, sustained by energy drinks and sheer determination. It doesn't make sense, she muttered, running her hands through her messy dark hair. The quantum modeling program she'd written kept producing results that violated every principle in the Council's physics textbooks. She checked her code 17 times. The door opened, and Kate Anderson walked in, carrying 2 cups of actual coffee. You missed the morning briefing, Alex. James said you've been down here all night. Dr. Anderson. Alex straightened up, accidentally knocking over an empty can. I'm sorry about the briefing, but something weird is happening with the simulation, and I can't figure out if it's a bug or... Slow down, Kate handed her a coffee. Start from the beginning. Alex pulled up her code. Okay, so I was trying to model quantum tunneling effects based on those nested field equations you discovered, but I kept getting compiler errors because the quantum states weren't resolving properly. She scrolled through lines of code. So I wrote this workaround to force the quantum states to resolve using a recursive loop, which was stupid and shouldn't work at all. But I was tired and... What happened? Kate asked, leaning closer to the screen. That's just it. Alex pulled up the simulation results. Instead of crashing, it did this. The display showed a quantum particle simultaneously existing in 2 places nearly a meter apart, a scale that should have been impossible according to both human and alien physics. Kate's coffee cup froze halfway to her lips. How long has it been maintaining that state? 6 hours, Alex said. I thought it was a rendering error at first, but I checked everything. According to these readings, I accidentally created a stable quantum tunnel. Using a programming error, Kate breathed. I know, it's completely wrong. Alex reached for the keyboard. I should probably delete it and start over. Don't you dare. Kate grabbed her wrist. Alex, do you realize what you've done? Written really bad code. You've proven that quantum tunneling doesn't care about our mathematical models. Kate was practically vibrating with excitement. The Council's entire approach is based on precise quantum field manipulation. They're so focused on controlling every aspect of the process that they never considered. A warning light flashed. Alien observers approaching. Save everything, Kate ordered. Then make it look like you're working on something else. Alex quickly saved her work and pulled up a game of solitaire, just as two alien observers entered. The gaseous one that staff had nicknamed Cloudy drifted forward. "More primitive computer exercises," his translator hummed. "Teaching the intern basic programming," Kate said smoothly. "Have to start somewhere, right?" The crystalline observer, Sparkles, flickered with amusement. "Indeed, though our sensors detected unusual energy readings from this section. Probably the old wiring again," Alex offered, pointing to the exposed conduits above. "This building's electrical system is older than I am." "Evidently," Cloudy observed. "We also noted increased power consumption." "Bitcoin mining rig," Alex said quickly. "It's a human digital currency thing. Super primitive. Uses tons of electricity to solve useless math problems." The aliens exchanged what might have been confused looks. "And this serves what purpose?" "Making money to buy pizza, mostly," Alex shrugged. "Like Dr. Anderson said, super primitive." The observers left, clearly deciding that investigating human digital currency was beneath their dignity. Once they were gone, Kate turned to Alex with a grin. "Bitcoin mining. Quick thinking. Best part is, we actually do have a mining rig upstairs masking our power usage." Alex pulled her real work back up. "Now, about this quantum tunnel. Send this to every facility," Kate said. "But first, explain exactly what you did wrong with this code. Sometimes the best discoveries come from mistakes that shouldn't work. Like discovering penicillin." "Like that," Kate smiled. "Only this time, instead of killing bacteria, we're going to revolutionize space travel and prove that humanity's primitive approaches might just be exactly what we need." Alex beamed, then turned back to her screen. "Should I keep making mistakes then?" "Make all the mistakes you want," Kate said. "Just document them carefully. Because I have a feeling we're about to turn the Council's understanding of physics upside down." The Norway facility looked like a decrepit fishing warehouse from the outside. Inside, Dr. Emma Larson pressed her hand against the quantum tunnel generator's housing, feeling its subtle vibration. The device, elegantly disguised as a broken industrial coffee maker, represented humanity's greatest technological achievement. And the alien inspector standing 3 feet away had no idea. "Your species' reliance on caffeine stimulants is most primitive," the crystalline being observed, its translator pitching with what might have been discussed. Emma nodded sadly. "We can't all subsist on pure energy like your enlightened species. Coffee's what keeps human science running." The alien drifted closer to the generator. Emma forced herself to remain casual, though her heart pounded. Inside that broken coffee maker was technology that could rewrite the laws of physics. Her communicator buzzed. A message from Kate Anderson. "Singapore online. London ready. How's our Norwegian coffee maker?" Emma typed back. "Making the perfect brew. Our guest is about to leave." The alien inspector finished its scan, detecting nothing beyond the expected electromagnetic signatures of damaged kitchen equipment. As it floated toward the exit, Emma allowed herself a small smile. The quantum dampeners Alex had designed were working perfectly. "Perhaps," the inspector's translator hummed, "you should consider replacing your primitive beverage dispensers with more reliable technology." "We'll take it under advisement," Emma replied cheerfully. Once the alien was gone, she activated the secure communication system. "Kate, we're clear. Ready to begin test sequence alpha." Screens flickered to life around the facility. Windows connected to hidden labs across the globe appeared. Kate in Pittsburgh, James in London, Dr. Chen in Singapore, and others. Each facility had constructed its own quantum tunnel generator based on Alex's revolutionary code. "Status check," Kate called out. "Singapore. Generator stable," Dr. Chen reported. "Quantum field aligned." "London. Ready," James confirmed. "Dampeners at full strength." "Pittsburgh is go," Alex chimed in, her young face intense with concentration. "Quantum matrices synchronized." Emma took a deep breath. "Norway is ready. Beginning primary sequence." She initiated the startup protocol. The coffee maker hummed to life, its hidden components generating a stable quantum field. On her screens, identical readings appeared from each facility. Phase 1 stable, Kate announced. Alex, you're up. The teenage programmer's fingers flew across her keyboard. Implementing tunneling protocol. Running it through the mistake subroutine now. Emma watched as the quantum readings shifted into impossible configurations. According to every physics textbook the Council had provided, what they were seeing couldn't exist. Tunnel forming. Dr. Chen called out. Singapore to London link established. Emma's sensors confirmed it. They had created a stable quantum tunnel between facilities, spanning thousands of miles. A test object, a simple metal sphere, sat ready in Singapore. On my mark, Kate ordered. 3, 2, 1. The sphere vanished from Singapore. Instantly, it appeared in London. Transfer successful, James shouted, his usually proper British reserve cracking with excitement. 0 temporal displacement. 0 energy loss. It's bloody perfect. Emma's hands shook as she processed the data. They hadn't just achieved quantum tunneling. They'd done it more efficiently than anyone had thought possible. Running full diagnostic, Alex reported. No quantum decay, no field instability. The tunnel is holding steady. Kate's face broke into a fierce grin. Emma, your turn. Let's see if we can make a triangle. Emma activated her facility's receiver. The sphere vanished from London and materialized in Norway with a soft pop. The impossible had become routine. Final leg, Kate said, sending it home. The sphere disappeared one last time, reappearing in Pittsburgh. They had just transported an object around the world using less energy than it took to run a microwave. Ladies and gentlemen, Kate announced, I believe we've just revolutionized physics. Alex, your mistake just changed everything. Speaking of mistakes, James cut in. We've got company. Alien observers approaching London. Time to become primitive again. They quickly shut down the quantum systems, reverting their facilities to their dilapidated disguises. By the time the observers arrive, they would find nothing but broken equipment and seemingly pointless human activities. Emma patted her quantum generator. Would anyone like some coffee? She asked innocently over the secure channel. Our machine's still broken, but I hear Pittsburgh has a working one. Laughter filled the secure channels as humanity's greatest scientific breakthrough masqueraded as a malfunctioning beverage dispenser. The Council's underestimation of primitive species was about to become their greatest mistake. The HSS Defiance looked nothing like the sleek alien ships hovering above Earth. Its hull was blocky, almost ugly by Council standards. But Kate Anderson thought it was the most beautiful thing she'd ever seen. The ship sat on a private launch pad in the Nevada desert, disguised as a failed prototype for conventional rocket technology. Final systems check. Alex called out from her station in the control room. At 19, she was the youngest person ever to serve as lead systems engineer for a spaceship launch. Quantum core stable. Tunneling matrices aligned. Kate stood at the main control station, surrounded by screens showing data from facilities worldwide. Each hidden lab had contributed to this moment. James monitored the quantum field generators from London. Emma coordinated power distribution from Norway. Dr. Chen managed spatial calculations from Singapore. Alien observers approaching, security reported. Right on schedule. Kate nodded. They'd leaked just enough information to ensure the Council would witness this test. Places everyone. Let's give them a show. The observation deck filled with alien dignitaries. Dr. 6427 led the group, his crystalline form radiating skepticism. Dr. Anderson. Another demonstration of your conventional propulsion systems. Something like that, Kate replied casually. We thought you might enjoy seeing our primitive attempts at advancement. The alien scientist drifted closer to the window. I notice your vessel lacks standard gravitational compensation arrays. The crew compartment appears to use basic inertial dampening. We work with what we understand, Kate said humbly. She caught Alex trying not to smile at her terminal. "The Council appreciates your dedication," Zix 427 said. "Though perhaps after this demonstration, you'll finally accept our guidance in proper spacecraft design." Kate checked the countdown timer. 5 minutes. "We're always eager to learn," she said, "though sometimes the best lessons come from unexpected places." The alien observers took their positions, instruments ready to record another disappointing human experiment. Kate opened a secure channel to the ship. "How are you doing up there, James?" Her colleague's voice came through clearly. "Ready to make history, or get spectacularly sick trying." "Quantum core at full power," Alex reported. "Field integrity at 100%. Ready to initiate on your mark." Kate took a deep breath. Everything they'd worked for came down to this moment. Begin launch sequence. The Defiance's engines ignited. Conventional rockets for show. The ship rose slowly from the pad, deliberately unimpressive. Several alien observers actually turned away, losing interest. "Reaching optimal altitude," Alex announced. "Quantum field stable. Ready for Phase 2. Kate smiled. "Time to show them what humanity can do. Execute jump sequence." Alex's fingers flew across her console. Quantum tunnel forming. Matrix locked on coordinates. Jump in 3, 2, 1. The Defiance vanished. The alien observers froze. Zix 427's crystalline form briefly lost cohesion. What just happened?" "Oh dear," Kate said innocently. "Did our primitive sensors glitch?" "Alex, can you locate the vessel?" Alex made a show of checking her readings. Quantum signature detected near Jupiter, Dr. Anderson. The observation deck erupted in chaos. Alien instruments whirred and buzzed, confirming the impossible. The Defiance had just jumped to Jupiter in less than a second. "Must be a malfunction," Zix 427 insisted. "No human technology could possibly." "New quantum signature detected," Alex interrupted. "Ship now approaching Mars orbit." Another jump. The Defiance blinked into existence near the red planet, then vanished again. Kate watched the alien observers descend into barely controlled panic. "Remarkable what can happen when you question basic assumptions," she commented. "Sometimes a primitive perspective sees things differently." The Defiance reappeared in Earth orbit, then made one final jump to hover directly in front of the observation window. James's voice came through the general comm. "Test flight successful, Dr. Anderson. All systems nominal. Jupiter's looking lovely this time of year." Zix 427 stared at the ship, his translator speechless. The other observers frantically compared readings, trying to explain what they'd just witnessed. Kate stepped forward. "I believe this qualifies as faster-than-light travel. Unless, of course, your instruments detected some primitive malfunction." The crystalline scientist turned to her slowly. "How? How did you?" "Let's just say," Kate smiled, "impossible is a matter of perspective." Now, about that council membership. The Grand Council chamber had never been so chaotic. Beings of every conceivable form argued in dozens of languages, their translators creating a cacophony of overlapping voices. Kate Anderson stood at the center of it all, displaying the technical specifications of humanity's quantum tunneling drive. "As you can see," she explained, highlighting the quantum field matrices, "by approaching the problem from what you considered a primitive perspective, we discovered an entirely new method of faster-than-light travel." "Impossible," a gaseous entity thundered from the upper tier. "Your species barely understands basic quantum mechanics." "Actually," Alex stepped forward, her young voice clear and confident, "we understood it differently. Your mathematical models were so complex, they obscured a simpler solution." The chamber erupted again. Kate caught sight of Dr. Zix 427 in the back, his crystalline form flickering with what might have been embarrassment. "Order." The Grand Administrator's energy form pulsed with authority. "The evidence is undeniable. Humanity has achieved faster-than-light travel within the specified parameters. Using unsafe methods. another council member protested. Their approach violates standard protocols. Does it? A new voice cut through the chaos. 3 representatives floated forward, species that had remained quietly neutral until now. The leader, a being of pure light, addressed the chamber. "We've been monitoring Earth's development with great interest," the light being announced. "While you dismissed their methods as primitive, we saw something else. Innovation unfettered by conventional limitations." Kate exchanged surprised looks with Alex. They had allies they never knew about. "The Luminar Collective," the light being continued, "formally requests a technology exchange agreement with Earth." More chaos. The Luminars were one of the oldest species in the galaxy. "The Quantum Conclave seconds this request," another previously silent member added. "Humanity's breakthrough could revolutionize our own transportation systems." "You can't be serious." Zix-427 finally spoke up. "Their method is based on a programming error, a mistake. A mistake that works better than your approved methods." James called out from his position at the data terminals. "Our energy consumption is 90% lower than standard FTL drives." The chamber fell silent as that fact sank in. Kate pulled up the efficiency comparisons, letting the numbers speak for themselves. "The council faces a choice," the Grand Administrator declared. "We can either acknowledge humanity's achievement and learn from it, or watch as other species pursue these advancements without you." Kate finished. "We're happy to share our research with open-minded collaborators." The political implications hit like a shockwave. Several prominent council members huddled together, speaking in urgent whispers. The balance of power was shifting before their eyes. "There is also the matter," the Luminar representative added, "of the council's assessment protocols. If they missed something this significant, what else have they overlooked?" More murmurs. Kate watched as the council's carefully maintained hierarchy began to crumble. Species that had been labeled primitive or developing were suddenly viewed in a new light. "We propose," the light being continued, "a complete revision of the council's technological assessment system, with human participation in the review board." Alex leaned close to Kate. "Did we just accidentally start a political revolution?" "Nothing accidental about it," Kate whispered back. "Sometimes systems need a shake-up to make progress." The Grand Administrator raised his energy appendages for silence. "The Council recognizes Earth's achievement. Full membership will be granted immediately, not in 10 years as originally specified." Cheers erupted from the human delegation, but the Administrator wasn't finished. "Furthermore, we acknowledge that our assessment protocols require updating. A new committee will be formed, with representatives from all technological traditions, not just established methodologies." Kate stepped forward. "Earth would be honored to participate. Though I'd suggest having Alex here lead our contribution to the review. After all, her primitive mistake changed everything." The teenager blushed as several alien scientists turned to study her with new interest. "Perhaps," the Administrator concluded, "we all need to remember that progress often comes from unexpected places, and that calling something impossible merely reveals the limitations of our own understanding." As the chamber buzzed with excited discussions about new possibilities, Kate caught Zix-427's eye. The alien scientist drifted over slowly. "Dr. Anderson," his translator hummed softly, "I believe I owe you an apology. And perhaps a few questions about quantum mechanics." The newly established Quantum Innovation Academy gleamed in the Nevada sunrise. Built where the HSS Defiance had made its historic launch, the campus combined Earth architecture with alien technology in a way that somehow made both look better. Kate Anderson stood at the window of her office, watching students of various species crossing the quad. A holographic display showed vessels arriving from across the galaxy, each using the new quantum tunneling drive that had revolutionized space travel. "Professor Anderson." Alex's voice came from the doorway. "The new students are ready for orientation." Kate smiled at her former protege, now the Academy's youngest department head. "How many this semester?" 237, Alex replied, checking her tablet, including representatives from 12 species that the Council used to classify as primitive. The Luminars sent their first group of quantum physics students in centuries. And our special guest, waiting in the lecture hall. Still nervous, Kate gathered her materials. Well, we shouldn't keep them waiting. They walked through the Academy's halls, passing laboratories where humans worked alongside alien scientists, each learning from the other's perspective. Innovation flourished in the mixing of methodologies, with breakthroughs becoming almost routine. The lecture hall fell silent as Kate entered. Beings of all forms filled the seats, their attention focused on the stage. At the podium stood a familiar crystalline form. "Welcome to the Quantum Innovation Academy," Kate began. "I'm Professor Anderson, and with me is Professor Martinez and our guest lecturer, Professor Zix 427, former Chief Scientific Advisor to the Galactic Council." The crystalline scientist's translator hummed with what Kate had learned to recognize as embarrassment. "Thank you, Professor Anderson. Though I admit I never expected to be here in this capacity." "Life's full of surprises," Kate replied warmly. "Especially when we question our assumptions. Professor Zix 427 will be teaching a course on the dangers of technological orthodoxy, using his own experience as a case study." The alien scientist addressed the class. 3 years ago, I declared humanity's approach to physics primitive and flawed. Today, their quantum tunneling drive powers most of the galaxy ships, including the one that brought many of you here. He gestured to a holographic display. Their achievement taught all of us, that progress doesn't follow a predetermined path. Sometimes, the greatest breakthroughs come from perspectives we dismissed as unsophisticated. Alex activated another display, showing the original mistake in her code that had changed everything. "Innovation isn't about following established rules," she added. "It's about being willing to see things differently." "Which brings us to today's announcement," Kate said. "The Academy is launching a new initiative, the Impossible Problems Division. We'll be tackling questions that the galaxy's greatest minds have declared unsolvable." Excited murmurs filled the hall. Several students began taking notes. "Our first project," Kate continued, "finding a way to stabilize quantum tunnels between galaxies. The Council says it's impossible." She smiled. "We say, watch us." After class, Kate found Zix 427 staring out at the quad. "Credit for your thoughts, Professor." "I was remembering." His translator hummed softly, "something you said during your first council assessment, about humanity having a long history of exceeding expectations. We do enjoy a good challenge." "Indeed." The alien scientist turned to her. "I've been studying Earth's history since then. Your species has quite a pattern of achieving the impossible simply because no one told you it couldn't be done. Or because someone told us it couldn't," Kate corrected with a grin. "A fair point." Zix 427's crystalline form shifted colors thoughtfully. "I've submitted my resignation from the Council's Science Division. They've become too focused on maintaining their authority rather than advancing knowledge." "Their loss is our gain," Kate said, "ready to help us tackle that intergalactic tunneling problem." "With one condition," the alien scientist replied. "Let Alex check my equations. I've learned to trust human mistakes more than Council certainties." Kate laughed. "Welcome to the team, Professor. Now let's go make the impossible happen." Again. Above them, ships blinked in and out of existence as they quantum tunneled across the stars, each jump a testament to humanity's greatest strengths. The audacity to question, the determination to try, and the wisdom to learn from their mistakes. The galaxy would never be the same. And that was just the beginning.